Welcome or welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing Sagittarius's general reading for the month of October for 2023. And today I did meditate over your cards. I was using a labradorite to do that before we started rolling. That's this right here. Labradorite is like a super cool iridescent blue-green crystal. It is actually the Sagittarius birthstone, one of our multiple birthstones. It's very, very good for channeling transformative energy, scrying energy, divination energy, which is perfect for this situation. But the transformative energy is good for the month of October because we've got that harvest moon coming up at the end of this month and the autumnal equinox, which just came this past weekend. So pretty exciting stuff happening. Looks like there's going to maybe be some transformation happening in your life. So let's take a look and see what the cards have to say about all of that. Let me give it a couple little shuffles here for you. And just remember that this is a general reading. So just take what resonates for you and leave whatever does not. Hopefully you'll find some things in here that do resonate for you. And if that is the case, please feel free to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. All right, let's pick some cards. Let's do this. And at the end of this reading, I am going to go ahead and pull a card from my Halloween Oracle deck because we have the Halloween holiday coming up at the end of the month. It's spoopy season, so it's the one month that's really appropriate. Okay. And we're going to be doing a Celtic cross spread, which is pretty traditional, one of my personal favorites. I think it really helps to give you a couple different areas of perspective on a reading. So let's see what we've got here. Well, speaking of transformation, and the first card you pull out is the Tower. So it looks like there's some interesting movement happening in your life from that being the first one I see. And it looks like it might be having something to do with finances, but let's just get all these out here so I get the lay of the land first. All right, and I don't read reversals. For me, it's all upright. The cards tell you what they tell you. Some things are more negative than others, but everything is learning. Everything's a learning thing, right? Nothing's bad. Okay, so it looks like we've got the energy that we have in the center of this is an energy of transformation, major transformation, perhaps something that's happened recently that could be maybe just a cataclysmic event. Could be bad, could be good. Could just be something that has shifted your foundations in your life. The Tower card is one of the more, I think, concerning cards for a lot of people when they do a tarot reading or when they get a tarot reading, just because it seems so dramatic with everything falling down and all the flames and all that intensity. But really, it's more just a card of things shifting, the foundation shifting beneath you, and what you may have held up as important or what you may have built before this time is kind of shaking ground. I do see a few coins in here, so this may have something to do with finances. It does look like with the 7 of coins crossing this, to me, this is usually some kind of project that's being worked on or a harvest that you're waiting to bring in. Maybe you have recently received news about something that you are currently in the midst of trying to create business-wise for yourself or financially for yourself. And so you're having some trouble with that. It looks like there might be some trouble maybe like savings. Maybe you found out that something is more expensive than what you were anticipating, or there's a bill coming due that hasn't been due for a while, or something like that is happening. So it looks like there's maybe a little bit of stress around that. I do see that you, however, you got the information you need, I think. The Page of Swords is a card that specifically talks about your knowledge, your understanding of a situation, your eagerness to cut to the quick on a situation, your eagerness to say, okay, this is what is happening. I see what's happening here. I'm going to take the initiative to move forward with this. So it looks like maybe you know that you have the strength and the knowledge to get through this situation, that you are at least from what you're aware of, you do have some information surrounding this. It's not a surprise necessarily, but it's more something that you may just need to tackle head on. And you may just need to say, okay, I'm just going to try and come up with some new ideas, just come up with some fresh things to try and curtail what could be maybe a little bit more of a disappointing outcome for this. So it looks like though you do have some good energy behind all of this. So the sun, this particular spot in the spread is about what you may not be aware of, or the things that are kind of happening behind closed doors, but that are lending themselves to the outcome of this situation. And you got the sun, and the sun is, you know, the happiest card in the deck. It's a card of great joy, light, fun, happiness, fulfillment. The sun is a card of exactly what it says, light. You know, it's the best thing you can have. So it seems like you've got a lot of good, maybe karmic energy behind you, or you have a lot of support emotionally from like friends, family. Maybe you have some people that would be willing to lend a hand. It does look like maybe you had been given some financial advice in the recent past, or maybe even given a little bit of help in the recent past, or have needed to ask for a little bit of help in the recent past financially for this situation, or maybe, you know, it looks like as I'm getting deeper into it, this is, yeah, a concern about whatever you're growing here, and that you have maybe somebody has invested in this. Okay, so that's okay. It looks like maybe somebody has especially since we have the 6 of coins moving into the 7 of coins here. I see how these two things are related. It feels like someone invested maybe in this thing that you have going, whether emotionally or financially, but the coins usually talk about financially. But also that can be time, that can be blood, sweat, and tears. It doesn't have to be specifically money, but somebody or something has invested in this situation that you are now concerned about going haywire, or you're just all falling apart. But it doesn't look like that's what's backing you up here. Like, I don't think chaos and everything falling apart is actually what you are dealing with right now. I think that you have a lot more stability behind this than you realize. It doesn't seem like the energies that are not your specific energy in this reading are super chaotic and destructive, and even necessarily transformative, although you do have the world here, which is usually the ending of a cycle. So I would say it looks like this thing that your financial thing, this thing that has to do with money in some way, is going to wrap itself up in a good way. It's going to finish out in some kind of bow on the present kind of way, because the world is a card, especially to have it in this position, which is your immediate future. The world is a card of everything that you have been working towards coming to its completion and finding its final resting place in a good way for you, like it finally settling down, everything kind of, you see how it's very motherly, it's protective, it's the fount, it's very like, oh, this is a very protective, feminine, happy, completing energy, like a circle kind of energy. So it looks like the circumstances surrounding whatever it is that you're concerned about are way more helpful than what you realize. And you have ideas about what's going on here. You think you know a lot about what's happened here, but I think there's a lot more going on that you don't realize that is actually going to be beneficial for you in the end. And that if you kind of hold back a little, I'm gonna see, I think these cards are gonna clarify a little bit more on that, but I think if you just hold back a little on the panic and hold back a little on the, oh, we gotta fix things, we gotta change things are all starting to fall apart, we gotta do something drastically different. I would say maybe think about, you know, just looking at this, it looks like you've got some people that are helping you here, you have forces that are helping you here, and it very well may come to some kind of nice, good ending if you try not to let things fall apart inside too much. If things fall apart inside, then it's more likely things will fall apart outside. So try and keep things together internally and mentally. And I think that seems like things will wrap up more the way they should. They're going to come to a conclusion that's more like okay, this makes sense. it makes sense that this is how this has worked out. Even if it isn't the way you initially planned it should work out. If it works out differently, it's still, based on this world card here, gonna end up the way you wanted it to some degree. It's gonna make sense to you, even if just in hindsight. All right, so now on this side, the way I usually look at the Celtic cross, I look at this as more of like the material plane. This is more of the manifested aspect of your life. And these things over here are more of like the spiritual, outside esoteric influences, fatalistic influences kind of on what's going on in your situation. So this is more the unseen and this is more the seen. I think, to put it in a simple way, that's the way I would look at that. So on this side, we've got the Chariot. So again, movement. And this is you helming this chariot of swans, which is not a super effective chariot, which to me shows an energy of really wanting to take charge, really wanting to make this work, really wanting to go forward and go towards your passion or whatever this thing is that you're trying to accomplish, but you don't feel like you really have the grounding. I mean, again, if you're trying to ride a chariot of swans, you may have some issues. They're not exactly the most reliable of carting animals, but she's still super confident, and the Chariot is still a very good card. It's a card of also choices. You know, you're the one who's going to be making these decisions. You're the one who's going to be choosing the direction that you go in with this circumstance. You are the head of the pack with whatever this project is. You feel like you have a position of power in it. And much like the Tower, which is this huge cataclysmic, chaotic, intense feeling of all things kind of shifting and changing, the Chariot too is about transformation and change. It is also your energy in this deck, although much more restrained. So like material plane, what you're seeing, cataclysmic, intense, could be very bad, all potentially falling apart, things shifting in a way you weren't expecting. In the spiritual plane, in the more, what's going on behind the scenes, it's a lesser degree of kind of the same idea. It's more of like, yes, things are shifting, but in a way that you have more control over than you realize, although it may not seem that way at first blush. The Chariot, I think, is a good way of saying, look, it's trying to soften your approach to this, but not telling you that it's not happening. It agrees. This is, yes, you are going through some kind of shift, but you have more control over it than you think. The Eight of Cups, this is saying that you have, right now, as an influence around you, a lot of people saying you might have some people telling you to cut ties actually with some aspect of this thing. You might be getting advice from other people telling you like, look, this part isn't working, this aspect of whatever it is you're doing isn't working, just walk away. The Eight of Cups specifically is a card of, it's another completion card. It's a card of like saying, I've had enough of this. I don't want these things anymore. I want to move on to something different. So these are usually the energies surrounding you. This is less your feelings about this and more kind of influences you're getting from other people. So I see that as, you may have some friends, some family, and they might come to you with the advice of, look, if it's not working, just let it go. If it's not happening in a way that's making you happy, you don't have to hold on to everything. So it's okay to say, nah, that's not working and I'm gonna let that go. Even in a business, situation or in something else, it's okay to say those things. It's okay to move forward. So the Two of Wands, this is kind of like you've set yourself up and now you are looking towards the future. You have stability in the situation, but you're not sure exactly what's coming. I think you're just a little afraid of the unknown. To me, this is just showing that you're, which I think is reinforced by everything else we've seen on here. You're just a little concerned about what is to come, not knowing what's to come. You are hoping you didn't build your castle on sand, right? You're really hoping that what you've done here is going to bear the fruit that you are, hoping to harvest, that you have been planning to harvest this whole time. And the Knight of Coins, I think it's a really great omen because this is a card of new money, really, of news about a good financial situation coming your way. It's a young energy of excited new ideas. Perhaps somebody will come to you with a new idea that might really like spark new life into this thing that you're trying to create, or shift your perspective on how it could work. And suddenly, wow, now all of a sudden it's all working perfectly. So I think basically what I'm seeing overall is you've got some stuff that has caused you to panic a little. Don't panic, right? Panicking, even in a situation that lends itself to panic, is never going to solve the circumstance. So best thing to do is to take some deep breaths and relax and try and think about the circumstance objectively as much as possible. Step outside of it, you know, and really see how you can maybe listen to other people when they're talking to you and when they want to help you. I am seeing that messages regarding money and aid in that respect, I think more an advice maybe than an actual coins, but you might be getting some advice that could be more helpful for this situation. So don't lose hope. Stay true, stay solid, and just remember you have more control over this situation than I think you realize. And it looks like the fates are happy for you, want it to succeed. It looks like the cards are at least telling you that. So, all right, let's take a look now at one of our Halloween Oracle cards, see if it's got something that'll add a little spice, a little clarity, or a little something extra to this read. I mean, everybody's so far has been getting, obviously, transformation. They're all these transformation cards popping up in everybody's readings because it's the harvest moon. It's that time of year. It's time for things to shift. It goes from spooky season to cold season, you know, Yuletide and all that good stuff. So stuff's dying, stuff's reborn, all that good stuff. The seasons. But it's an interesting time to be sure, I think, for everybody this month. It's going to be hopefully a good month. And I am seeing a lot of coins and money in people's reads too, which I think is great. So, all right. Hidden talents. So I think that's interesting considering the fact that we've got, you know, other things that are saying they might lend themselves to helping you in this situation. I think hidden talents is saying, I mean, the thing might be within you. It could be rather than being from someone else. Okay, I don't know these ones off the top of my head, but I can go ahead and read you their little blurb that they have for them. I do like this deck, though. I think it's pretty cool. Okay. Should this beautiful but shy bird sing to you by appearing during your divination, know that you must unwrap the present of yourself. Look, some of the gifts within you remain unopened. The time has come to step into your true potential and claim all possibilities for yourself. There is no more time to waste, no more excuses. So, to me, this is saying trust that you have the creative and the intellectual capacity to get through this thing that is causing you a little bit of tumultuous feelings. I think if you allow yourself to look inside yourself and maybe meditate a little on what might happen, you never know what kind of messages you'll receive. That could be, you know, intervention that's like, oh, I had no idea. An idea could just pop into your head, right? So I think this is overall looks like it's going to be an interesting month, a good month, but a good month to try and trust your instincts, trust your intuition, and hold fast. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the reading today. If you want more information on the decks that were used today or the crystal used today, there's going to be more information about that in the description box below. Also, we do private readings, so if you would like one, please feel free to look at that information, which is also in the description box below. And thank you so much. We'll see you next time.